I think we're good. All right. Why are you clapping it so many times?
I had to make sure it worked.
We just needed one. No. We just need one clap.
You weren't ready for
now
it
you
anyway.
you gonna throw me all off.
No, I'm not.
Welcome everybody. It's your boy T. Roy.
And I'm your girl Chaka.
And we are Beauty and Beard. We're super duper excited to have you guys with us here today. Man, it's good to be back in the saddle of podcasting.
Yes.
Why you hesitate? You don't want to podcast no more?
I think it was because you said in the saddle of podcasting, and I really didn't know how to respond to that one.
So there's a good chance that I probably used that terminology just now incorrectly. I'm not too aware of
the whole back in the saddle again.
Yeah, back in the saddle again. Why don't you do this? I know you moved it up. Now move it this way, because I notice you keep tilting back. There you go.
Oh, I moved it closer to me. That's what I just did.
Yeah, but I noticed you tilt back, so that way you don't have to tilt back anymore.
That was me getting comfortable.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
hey, focus on you.
Hey, oh.
I got me.
I'm focusing on us. That's what a good husband is supposed to do. You know what I'm saying?
You're not a husband right now. You're a
I'm
producer.
Not a husband?
You're a producer.
I'm not a producer?
No.
I mean, I'm not a husband?
That wasn't a husband comment. That was a producer comment.
Yeah, but even as a producer, I'm still a husband.
So,
hey, we back at it again. And this special episode, we're going to be talking about Chaka graduating.
Yay!
Yes.
Spirit fingers.
This past May. We finished a long, arduous process of getting Chaka across the finish line.
Yeah, I am
of her degree.
Yep, I was a professional student once again. I think we both are professional students.
I told you the other day, I feel like I want to be back in the classroom again.
Yeah, you did say that. You did.
And I don't know what it is. I feel like I just have a desire to learn something.
I think that's the atmosphere where you absorb the most, at least you. But I think if you could do more workshops, conferences, that kind of thing, you would get the same gratification or same satisfaction. But the school atmosphere challenges you.
Right.
Because then you have to prove it. Whereas the conference, you just go and no one ever knows if you really understood it.
When I was in my degree, I think my degree was maybe 3 years or something like that. I read probably a total of 20 books in 10 years. Now, since my degree, I've read a total of I started like 5 or 6 books.
I know. There's one book. There's one book you started, and I think you had good intentions. And when we left the beach, I haven't seen you.
I haven't picked that book back up. I picked it back up in Vegas.
Okay.
I had it at the beach and I had it in Vegas.
Okay.
I still haven't gotten through chapter 1
About to say, because I picked it up last and I put it on the bookshelf.
Yeah. So, but yeah, being in the classroom, it just feels like it gives. So why is that? I think in the classroom, when you have somebody who is overseeing your studies and stuff like that, and then you have to have like tests, examinations, papers due at a certain period of time, it makes you to have to work. But now that I'm not in school and you know, I want to learn on my own, there's no pressure because it's on my own time. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that's part of the reason why I desire to be back in the classroom, because I have a desire, I have an itch to learn. That's the reason why every time we watch a new TV series or something like that, we can't enjoy it, because I'm always picking it apart. I'm learning the characters.
That's not why we don't enjoy it.
What? Why don't we enjoy it?
Because sometimes we're not watching it together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I give you that.
You pick apart my TV shows. You don't talk through your stuff.
Yeah, yo.
You don't
it's
pick
so
apart
predictable.
Yours. That's the good part about it. I don't look for stuff that I can't that I don't know is going to give me the ending or that I want. I mean, I do like being surprised, so I watch stuff that's going to be surprising, but the element of surprise is something I can manage.
Right.
I can handle.
Okay, I give you that.
And your stuff's predictable too.
No, my stuff is predictable, but there are twists and there's a lot of comedy in it.
Which is why it's predictable. It's all the same comedy.
I mean,
it's all the same comedy.
It makes me feel good.
But
you graduated.
Yes, I did.
Now you said you said something at the very beginning after I said arduous. You were like finally or something like that. Why you say finally you got your degree?
I think I said professional student.
Professionals. Oh yeah, professional student.
Yeah, I didn't say finally.
But let's make it clear. What exactly did you graduate with?
I have a master's degree in counseling.
What's the actual title of the degree?
It varies.
Because I always tell, because people always ask me, I'm like, yeah, she got her degree in, she got a master's in family counseling. And then you always come behind me and correct me.
No.
Actually, boo-boo is clinical wellness, health affairs, human services.
It's professional counseling. Another title for it is clinical mental health counseling. That's what the official title is, because they're in the process of changing all the programs across the nation, trying to make them something that's universal and have the same accreditation. So that's the official title of the program. So depending on where you are, in some places it's just counseling, in other places it's professional counseling and development, clinical mental health counseling. I think there's another clinical something term for it.
So even speaking about that, it was a time period in that degree where they were working on the I don't want to say verification. What is it? The
credentialing, accreditation.
Accreditation. I know that was heart wrenching because it's like you're in the degree and you're like, yes, I'm getting this degree, and they were like, hey, hold on real quick, this isn't accredited.
No. So it was accredited. So when I started the program, it was called professional counseling.
Yeah.
And I had to do something when I first came into the program because I have never taken a GRE. And so because I did not have a GRE and they were in the process of transitioning to this universal accreditation, when I came in the program, it was one thing. When I finally was in the program, it had transitioned to something different. So what was happening was when I was accepted into the program officially, they had started the process of getting this, soon to be universal accreditation. They were regionally accredited, like the Southern region, something like that already. So it was already accredited. It would have been a legit degree either way. But this national accreditation that they were trying to get, had started the process, got somewhere in the process and missed the mark somehow, and had some things they had to fix. And so instead of just fixing those things and picking it up, what they did was they stopped the process and were like, we're going to pick it up at some point. We don't know when.
I would be
Okay. So for those of you who don't know, it's called KCREP, which is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And right now, the way counseling works is, schools and different programs are regionally accredited, but KCREP is this national accreditation where it's pretty much it's recognized all over the U.S. And so the recognition that KCREP has is actually a standard in some places. So like for the government, you can't counsel military unless you come from a KCREP accredited program. And there are other places, some states, you actually can't counsel unless you come from a KCREP accredited program. So for this area in Virginia, it didn't matter. I was going to be okay because we were regionally accredited. So Virginia, probably North Carolina, that kind of thing, I would have been fine. But had we moved anywhere else, I was at risk of not having a degree that was recognized in a way where I could counsel.
So when did they finally finalize it?
So we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. That's part of the story.
Actually, let's back up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So you got your degree when?
So I got my degree.
It's conferred for what year?
2021.
2021. When did you get your very first degree? Pause real quick. Chaka got 20 degrees. Low key. Low key. Did not go the traditional route.
I need you to zoom in on the side eye you're getting right now.
Did not go the traditional route as far as finishing 4 years of high school and then going straight to grad. You went to community college first.
Yes.
I mean and that's traditional.
I'm about to say,
yeah, that's traditional. My bad.
You're making everything sound like it's I don't know, that I kind of went this backdoor kind of deal. So as soon as I graduated from high school, I went to community college, did a few years at community college, and then I transferred into a 4-year institute to finish my 4-year degree. And yes, it took me longer than 4 years. I did my first I think, did we talk about this in another podcast?
What's that?
About my whole school experience.
Well, some people are just joining in for the very first time, so
okay,
it'd be cool to talk about it.
I
don't remember.
So I went to community college first. I got an associate's degree from community college, and I transferred into a 4-year college.
Yeah.
And then I got a bachelor's from the 4-year college. So what I meant by the story was I took my time. I literally did. In community college, I was doing very, very well. I had all honors. I was an ambassador.
You even worked.
I even had jobs. Yeah.
Was it a full-time or part-time?
Part-time, but the combination of the jobs was almost like having a full-time, because I would work in between classes and then I'd work after class.
Yeah.
At another job and stuff like that. And then I'd work weekends, Saturday and Sunday. So, but I worked every day of the week. Every day
Hard
of the week. Yeah.
Worker.
Every day of the week, and had classes.
So you went to community college. How many degrees did you finish with?
2. I think I had 2.
Degrees.
Well, so in community college, when you're taking all of your basic classes, all you have to do really is add 1 or 2 classes and you qualify for other degrees. So I was going for the general studies degree, I believe is what I was doing. But I was focusing on science because that's what I wanted to go to school for. Mm-hmm. So I qualified for their biology degree, their dental hygiene degree, their chemistry degree, like all of those, because I had all the classes needed for all of those degrees, but they're all, medical, scientific, that kind of thing. So, but I officially think on my record, it only shows 1 or 2. I think maybe 2. What
made you go to community college first?
So that was my parents' decision. I wanted to go to college right away, 4-year college, but we did not prepare for a 4-year. I think
they didn't think their daughter was smart enough to go to school.
No, they knew. They knew their daughter was smart enough to go to school. Their daughter was not smart enough to do what she was supposed to get the scholarships and stuff. So, like applying.
Got you.
I had the same record that I had in high school, or in college. I had in high school. I was an honor student. I, graduated.
What part of your graduating high schook class did you? What rank were you?
I think I was number 6.
Dang, number 6 out of how many students?
10. Like, okay, here's the thing.
6 out of 10.
Here's the thing. I was 6 out of 10 with a 3.8.
Dang.
On a 4.0 scale. Like I was only a few points from having a 3.9. Like a couple of tenths of a point, whatever, from having a 3.9.
I think I had a 3.65.
Think about that one.
I think I had a 3.65, and I graduated like number 35.
Yeah, I had exactly. See the difference? So you laughed. I had a very smart class. My graduating class has a couple of doctors. This is like a couple of doctors, a nurse. Me, who went into the science realm, another individual, I think a valedictorian, became a chemical engineer, another nurse. Like we were about our business. So we were all honor students and doing very well in the class. It was very competitive, but we didn't compete against each other. We were very supportive and helpful It was really good, but we were all aspiring to do well, and we were all athletes. All of us played at least 2 sports.
You had to. The whole school.
All
It was
of
only
us.
like 5, 6 people
No,
in
but
the
I'm
school.
saying like all of us are playing at least 2 sports, and we're holding a 3.8 and above. Like most schools say you only have to have like a 3.5 or something like that, or whatever it is. Yeah, we were killing it, and we were all playing instruments.
What did you play?
Piano.
Oh,
exactly. You forgot, didn't you? You've never seen me play piano, have
I
you?
never.
In the 10 years we've been married, my husband's never seen me play piano.
I asked you one time to play. I was trying to. For some of you all don't know, I do music sometimes. On the side, actually, like every other week. And I was trying to make this beat, and I was like, babe, I cannot find the right key for this beat. I was like, can you find the key? You found the key for me?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Special. So, disclaimer, okay, I play by notes. I don't play by ear.
Oh, so you can read sheet music.
Yes,
Okay.
I can read music. And so that's how I learned to play. So, and I'm, classically trained. So, so that was what I was talking about. I can play the piano if I have a book in front of me. And if I learn it, then I can play it afterwards, but I can't play by ear.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go back. Went to community college because you wanted to go to a 4-year college, but didn't get the opportunity because of not applying for scholarships and things of the nature. If you had your choice back then, where would you have went?
Okay, so my top choice was actually Georgetown.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Why Georgetown? You wanted to be because of Allen Iverson.
Allen Iverson was part of it.
You know what's so funny?
Hold on.
You say, I don't want no thug, and then he's not a
mind
thug.
Mind you, at the time he did not have the persona that he has now.
Facts.
This was the
He doesn't have a thug persona.
Okay, but
He's
this was
misunderstood.
Yeah, but this was the college. This was the newly minted college athlete.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't at all anything like I guess what he is now as an NBA
yeah.
Individual or athlete.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he might be.
But Georgetown, that was how I found out about Georgetown. That was not why I wanted to go to Georgetown. If I remember correctly, I think they had a really good science program. So I went to school because I wanted to be a genetic counselor. I fell in love with science through my high school. Shout out to Dr. Mason. And he really took time to explain and help us learn and cultivate, and had really cool experiments. Like we had this one where he had pig intestines, and I can't remember what he was trying to show us. And I think it was just anatomy. I think he was just trying to show us how long the intestine could be. Mm-hmm. And so he had pig intestines, and he had us stretch it out on the soccer field to show us the comparison of how long the intestines are. Like,
how long was it?
Oh my gosh. I want to say it was
Did it go?
I want to say it was at least half the soccer field, but I don't remember.
That's
it was
crazy.
Pretty long, and it smelled horrible.
I bet it did.
But I mean, it was stuff like that he would do, and it just really resonated. And when I told him that I wanted to be a science major, the one thing he said to me that's always stuck with me, and in every profession that I ever consider, every job, every time I go to school, I think about this now, because I see what he said, what he meant. He said, as a science major, you're going to want to make sure you go all the way. Like, I encourage you to go all the way, talking about his doctoral degree, because otherwise in this field, with only a master's, you will be a high paid lab technician with a master's degree. Mm-hmm. So like, you won't get you'll do all the work and not get any of the credit. And the opportunity, could be missed. And so when I was in the science arena, I definitely saw what he meant. We did a lot of the work, and literally never got to sit at a table with a customer or a client or a patient or anything like that. We were completely behind the scenes. Completely, the doctor above us, would tell us what to do. Obviously, very intelligent and stuff like that, and would direct and all these other things. And we would do the overnights. I mean, this cat left. He left at like 6, 5, maybe, and we would be there later. So, but in the end, I think when he published, I didn't have a master's. I had a bachelor's. I got no recognition. And just kind of seeing also like the opportunities that would have been available to me to advance and progress had I had a higher degree just made more sense. But that was my first introduction into science. And then I decided when I was in college, I took a genetic class. I loved it. And I said I want to do human genetics. That's how I knew what my career was going to be.
So you graduated from community college.
Okay.
Graduated from community college. And then you had the opportunity to, you still wanted to go to a 4-year college.
Yeah.
Why not Georgetown? Why did you go to Georgetown at that time?
Okay. Yes, I did. I jumped ahead of myself. Sorry. I started talking about science and why I said Georgetown. Okay. My other college, I do want to say this. My other top choice was Spelman. I actually really did want to go to Spelman.
That's in Atlanta?
Yep.
Okay. Or Georgia?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I think Clark was also on there, but Spelman. So it you know what? I'm sorry. I digress. I digress. I got it wrong. Georgetown was my first choice. Boston University was also one of my first choices.
Okay.
I forgot about that. And then Spelman.
All because of the sciences.
Clark. Partially because of the sciences, but not really. I really was looking forward to the experience.
So, but you chose none of those.
Money. Money. Boston University costs about as much as a private school, as a private institute. Georgetown costs as much as a private institute.
And you would have came in as a out-of-state student.
Yes.
And that would have cost you more tuition.
Yes. I actually applied to all of those and got accepted to all of those colleges that I just mentioned.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I still have my letters. I got accepted.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I don't remember how many colleges I applied to, but I got accepted to all the colleges I applied to.
I got accepted to all the colleges I applied to too, and I only applied to one.
See,
yo, I was like, the coach reached out to me. He was like, "Hey man, you trying to go to school here?" I was like, "I would love to." He's like, "Okay, fill out the application." I said, "Hey, you real quick about this application. I noticed it has this, a little essay section on there. I do not desire to fill that out." He was like, "You know what? You don't have to. Sign me up."
See, no.
Sign me up.
Didn't have that. I did all my applications. I spent time in the library doing research for scholarships and different things like that. I got accepted. And so that's actually, if I were to be honest, that's what made it very hard, because you're looking at all these letters that say you can go to the college of your dreams. You're eligible, here's the key, or the door is open, or whatever opportunity is here. And to realize that you can't because you can't afford to. Like, that was hard.
If I can, let me take a quick moment to speak to some of our listeners. If you have children and you have the capability to put a little couple dollars to the side for them to go to school, do that.
Yeah.
If you could. Because had it not been for, I earned, unbeknownst to me, I earned scholarships while I was at school. Evidently, somebody was applying for me to get scholarships. I don't know. And I end up, for 4 years that I went to school, I end up only having to pay for one. Okay. So that worked out for me. But for a lot of people, that's not the same case. You gotta take on that whole burden of debt.
Yeah, so in the end, I wound up having some scholarships, mostly covered books, and like half of my tuition maybe, or like a quarter of my tuition.
Yeah.
And by that I mean a semester. I don't mean like half of my tuition the whole time I was in school. But the rest of it was my parents taking loans and me taking loans. I worked all through college, so I never did room and board. So a fun fact for me is I've never lived in a dorm. Because I transferred from a community college, I was able to go right into an apartment, because I was at that age and at that year level where I didn't have to live on campus.
What school did you pick?
I picked James Madison University, and I didn't actually pick James Madison University. I went to James Madison University after. Do you remember what college I actually went to the orientation for? There were two.
You went to my college, my alma mater, Bridgewater College, and you say you went there and you were like, which is funny because when I went there, I was like, yo, this is dope. You know what got me? What convinced me to go to
smaller than my community college.
First of all, you watch your mouth. You hating. Watch your
One
mouth.
of part of the tour was going through a modular. That was where the classrooms were.
That's because
it wasn't even a building.
They were building at that time. They were building schools at that time. By the time I got there, which was 4 years later, I didn't even see one. I didn't even see one. So she went to Bridgewater College. She didn't like it.
Oh no, here's another part. I said, "Where are all the people of color?" They said, and the person who was literally leading our tour was a person of color, a young man of color. And I said, "Where are the rest of us?" And he said, I'm going to tell you the truth. They're all athletes.
Which is true.
He said, "So it's the summer, so they're not here." And I was like,
It is very true. The majority of, at the time when I was there, the majority of Bridgewater College's people of color population were athletes. You're right. And then, I mean, there were more people there that were, people of color, but you had the majority of them on the sports teams.
Well, I had just come from a place where I needed more diversity because I didn't have that at my high school, and I didn't have a whole lot of that except for sport athletes at my community college or the town I lived in. So I was really looking forward to that experience. So when I went there and that was the response, and I was walking through a modular, I was like, this is a little country school. I can't do it.
First of all, quit hating.
I can't do it.
Second of all,
I just came from the country.
They had like the nicest lawn. That's actually
it was all lawn when I was there.
Had the dopest grass. When I was like, that grass looks really good. Country boy, of course. Man, that grass looks really good. I like it here. Sign me up.
Nah.
So let's argue real quick, because you started to talk about something, and we've argued about this before, and I want to argue about this in front of everybody else. Okay. So you went. All right. So let's tell the rest of the story. You went to Bridgewater College on a visit. You were like, I don't like this. Then you were like, you passed by the exit for James Madison University, went there, saw that, and you were like, ooh, I like this. Mm-hmm. And so you decided to go there. Mm-hmm. Went there. You decided to live off campus because you were a transfer student. Mm-hmm. And all 4 years you lived off campus. Now, this is where we argue, because Chaka and I have been saying that if we have a child that when they go to college, we were arguing about whether they're going to live on or off campus.
No. Okay, say it how we actually mentioned it.
How did we actually mention it? You tell me.
If they were going to live on or off campus all 4 years.
Yes, all 4 years. All right, so here's my argument. They're going to stay on campus all 4 years. Staying on campus was so dope. I remember a couple of my friends, they were like, man, I don't want to stay on campus no more, man. I want to live off campus. And I'm like, why? Everything is conveniently here. You park your car at night.
Freshmen don't get cars.
Well, at Bridgewater we did.
It's because you only had like 5 students.
A lot of places are allowing, financially, a lot of places now are allowing freshmen to bring cars, because that means that freshmen have to pay for parking, which brings more revenue to the school.
I feel like that's still not something that they're doing for bigger colleges, though, that have like more students.
Now I'm not sure where James Madison University is now, but I know back then freshmen couldn't. They could not. But here's the thing: you're a freshman. Why do you need to be riding around campus? You need to be familiar with your college. And so my argument is everything's conveniently there. You got your cafeteria there. You might not like it, but that's okay. It's there. You got your room. Now I will say this. You don't really have much privacy, because you all have a roommate.
I mean, you don't consider community showers where you're butt naked in front next to someone else as privacy with just a little half wall hiding your private.
Hold on, say that again. You're what?
Butt naked.
Butt naked.
Booty naked.
Booty naked. I didn't have a problem with that. I had my shower shoes. I had my little what's that thing called? The I don't know what that thing was called, but it was my shower
caddy.
Yeah. Had my shower caddy. I had the setup. I stayed on campus all 4 years. By far,
you had a mobile bathroom.
I had a mobile bathroom.
Mobile toiletries.
I even in my mobile caddy, my shower caddy, I had my toilet spray, so I could spray the toilet off, clean that up real quick before I got to do my biz.
Oh, I had my own bathroom.
I would clean it and then lay down tissue. Now, I will give you, that's a point. I give you a point for that one.
I didn't have to wait for somebody to
give
get
you a
out
point.
of it.
I give you, that's 2 points.
I didn't have to move my stuff around.
Hey, you getting too many points. Let me get some points.
My stuff stayed on the sink.
Let me get some points. Okay. You got community. Point for me. Okay.
He just whined.
And then there are events on campus that you paid for in your tuition and your student activity fee that you can enjoy. You know what? I'm still kicking myself in the butt to this day. Early in the day, a lot of people were like, "Hey man, y'all coming to see these comedians that are coming tonight to do comedy at the school." I was like, "Man, I'm not trying to see no comedians. What good comedian is coming to Bridgewater College to do comedy at our school?" And they were like, "I don't know. I've never heard of this guy. His name is Kevin Hart." Mm-hmm. And I was like, I've never even heard. Who is Kevin Hart? I was like, I'm not going to go see that joint. Kevin Hart came to Bridgewater campus, and I didn't go because I didn't know who he was.
It's because he wasn't anybody at the time, right?
Now, within like a couple years after that set that he did there, he came out with a couple movies like Soul Plane, Paper Soldiers. First of all, those are hood classics. Don't hate on the hood classics. He did a couple of those movies, but I could have met, and it's like three or four young ladies from my school that not only went to go see him that night, but then they got pictures. They all went out for like an after party at IHOP. They hung out with the dude.
Y'all catch where they hung out, right?
Hey, first of all, why you hating on Harrisonburg? That's the spot. That is the after hour spot in Harrisonburg. Now do you
understand why I did not go to Bridgewater College?
But you went to the school that's down the street. IHOP is right beside James Madison University. Anyway, so you got activities on campus. You got sports if you want to go see the sports. Yo, cables included, free internet. You paying for all of it with your tuition.
Exactly. Okay. So basically you have a ready-made establishment. That's great for those of you who don't want to have any responsibility.
Okay. And let me tell you this. Staying on campus, I needed that.
Yes.
I needed that. I needed to stay on campus. And I think a lot of 18 to 22 year olds needed this, and you weren't 18 to 22 year old at the time when you went, or you were 20 year old. You were 22.
I was 21.
But a lot of 18 to 22 year olds need that structure of how to live in the community. It was fantastic.
Yep, which you can definitely get the first 2 years. So I am. You don't need 4 years to understand that. And think about most college living. After your first 2 years, you're probably going to live somewhere where you have a roommate. So you don't lose that communal living. You just do it in a different place where now you're also learning the responsibility of paying for your utilities, paying for your rent, cooking your own meals, doing your own cleaning or whatever it is. Like all these different things that you now have to do on your own. You have the support of roommates. You're figuring out life. I'm not opposed to living in a dorm. I'm not opposed to living in a dorm for all 4 years
Mm-hmm.
at all. What Troy is saying is that they're not going to have a choice. I am against them not having a choice. If our child comes and says, hey, after the first, I'm going to probably say the first 2 years, because I definitely would, I think, want them to be on campus for the first 2 years.
Yeah.
But if after their sophomore year, for their junior and senior year, they want to live in an apartment with some friends or whatever, I'm not opposed to that. I don't think they have to be there all 4 years to understand and to learn the lesson. I think there's lessons to be learned living off campus too, and I think that's a good way to transition them into independent living, because that's the one thing about
not a bad point.
Dorm life is it doesn't necessarily teach you how to do that. And so I would love for our children, after they graduate from college, to be able to go out on their own. If they want to come home, they can, but I don't want it to be a fear factor. I want them to see that they can handle it, that they can manage it on their own. I want them to see what it's like to have to pay rent, to have to buy groceries, to have to, in a safe space, in my opinion, because they're able to do this in the comfort of, a communal setting, not just being thrown out there where they have to do it like in the middle of New York or something like that. That's not in a college setting, like,
right.
I don't even know why I said New York, but I'm just thinking of going away, leaving college, and instead of having this $300 rent because you're splitting with a roommate, you now have $1,000 rent. Learning those different things along the way. So that's what I mean. Okay. I don't
stop making good points.
I'm just saying
I'm losing.
Everything that you said was valid to me. I do believe that I would say they need to live in a dorm. I missed out on that experience. Knowing what was going on campus was challenging, because when I went home, and that actually affected me in my first year because I didn't feel like I was connecting. So, kind of going back to what I was saying before, what I was going to mention was when I finally started going to JMU, the first year I had a cultural shock, because I was used to a small college. I wasn't used to that much diversity, if you will, even though JMU wasn't really that diverse, but it
had a good population,
but I wasn't used to that experience. And so it was very shocking for me. I was also working a lot. I had 2 jobs again, and I was commuting. So,
commuting from where though?
From Maryland, and from Maryland and West Virginia, depending on where I was staying. So it was about a little over 2 hours one way every day. Because when I transferred into JMU, I did it literally the week before school, so I didn't have a place to live. But so for the first couple of months, I was able to live with my uncle in West Virginia, and I was able to commute from their house every morning. And then I also would go home to Maryland on the weekends and work, and stuff like that. You so
grinding, girl.
Yeah, I had to. Like I said, I didn't have the finances to pay for everything. So I was in an apartment. I had to pay utilities. I needed gas. I had all these other, responsibilities I had to take care of. But anyway, my point is, so because of that, I was not able to enjoy community living or at a college. I wasn't able to engage in activities. I was driving up and down the road. I was living off campus. I didn't, and I will say that college at the time did not have a really good transfer program.
Yeah.
And so as a transfer student, you were kind of left hanging, whereas then they had a whole summer program dedicated to freshmen, which acclimated them to college living and got them used to where to find things on campus, and even connected them with groups and organizations and things like that. As a transfer student, you literally were left to find everything on your own and to connect on your own. And so coming from out of state, that was even harder.
That was difficult. I can imagine how difficult that
I
could be.
knew no one when I got there. I had no friends, no nothing. So if it weren't for CGS, which was the Contemporary Gospel Singers that I joined in, I think, early, probably January when I came back. If it weren't for them, I don't think I would have connected as well, because after I found that group and I found my friends and I found the place where I was happy in that group, I was able to really kind of kill it from that point out. Yeah. But the damage had been done. So because of my cultural shock in the beginning and because of all the transition, like how hard that was for me, I actually had depression during my first semester, and I failed a couple of classes.
You never, I know about the classes, but you never classified it as depression.
Oh yeah. So I did not know that then. I know it now. Like I know it as an older individual, someone who understands, what the symptoms are. Um, I understand that that's what that was at the time. And so, I mean, I would go back to my house and I would clean and do different things and what have you. And when I finally got a place to live, I was just kind of, at that point, I had already been 2 months into school and not made friends. So I just felt like an outcast. So
you were going, I was about to say, did you even try to look for a church? But then you mentioned a little bit earlier, you were going home on the weekend. So I imagine you didn't try to find a church in that area.
No, I was just trying to make sure I was keeping up with my studies and doing things. But like I said, it was the first couple of months that I commuted. And then eventually I was able to get a place to live off campus, so I didn't have to commute anymore. But at that point, I hadn't made any friends and I hadn't connected to anyone in school. So I would still just go to my classes and then I'd go back home, and I connected with my roommate, but she had a life of her own. She was already a senior, or she was a junior or senior, can't remember. So she had already connected, plus she was from Virginia, like, different things. She had a life of her own too. She was a great roommate. And so I still had that, I still felt separated from everyone.
Yeah.
And so that was hard. So basically what happened my first semester was I literally failed a class, and then I like an F, and then I think I got like a D in another class.
Whoa.
I did really bad. Like, this is the honor student. Okay.
This is news to me.
We've had this conversation.
I didn't know you got a D and an F. I just thought you had like a C- or something like that.
No, when I say I failed, I failed.
I thought that was exaggeration.
No.
Because some people, they'll get like a B and they're like, man, I did horrible.
I failed. So it was challenging for me, focusing. School for me comes easy. I feel that it really does. Studying something, understanding a concept comes pretty easy for me. What was challenging for me when I started in college at that point was concentrating and focusing, stopping and studying. I was in such a sad place that I didn't feel like picking up my books. So so what happened was over the break, I actually, when I finished the semester, I had like a 1.23 GPA. It was bad. And it was bad because I had transferred in an associate's degree worth of credits.
Yeah.
So I already had a whole bunch of credits. And so but I had no GPA at that college. So of course, you think of it, you have like 75 credits against a 0 GPA.
Yeah.
All of that weighs very heavy. It weighs differently, which schools, you need to figure out something out for that one, because when something that drastic happens, it's really hard for somebody
to bounce back.
Exactly. Because you're a transfer student. So you're not allowed to carry over your old GPA unless, like in some places, unless you qualify for honors at the end, and then they will look at your past GPA. But if you don't qualify for honors at the end, like, cum laude, summa cum laude, magna, that kind of stuff, they will not consider your former GPA. Had they considered my former GPA, I would have maybe had like a 2 point something or whatever. So anyway, that's what happened. So the next semester, I knew I wasn't stupid. I retook some classes, and I even had the same teacher because I wanted to prove to them that I knew what I was doing, and I killed it. The next semester, I got like a 3 point something.
So when I take it, you retook those classes, did they replace those grades?
So one of the classes, I think my F did. I think I only
repeat forgive.
They call repeat forgive, but at JMU, I think it's called repeat forgive, but really you get whatever the second grade is, whether it's higher or lower.
Oh, they don't take the higher of the two?
Well,
that was then.
Yeah, that was then. It could have changed. So anyway, So I'm sorry, you threw me off. So
Conversation.
I know, but you know my mind works on her. Um so the next semester I did really well, and because I was trying to prove that I could do it, and I knew I could do it, and I had found, again, I was determined. I was determined to get out of how I was feeling. I was determined. I was like, this isn't me. Just a whole bunch of stuff which I can talk about another time, but I got myself to a really good place, and I was feeling good the next semester. I'm like, I'm going to go in. I'm going to make friends. I'm going to kill it. I'm going to get involved. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to be me, the me that I know I am, and that I can be. And that's what I went in from day one, and I did it. But the damage had already been done. That's what I meant. So you can have a really high GPA and a really low one, and unless, I don't know, God comes in, it's not enough. So I was on academic probation.
What years?
I was on academic probation my first semester. Then I actually was suspended after the second semester.
I did not know about this suspension.
Hey, Mom.
Who was this girl that I was dating?
You weren't dating.
I wasn't dating you.
Weren't even there yet.
But eventually I wasn't.
You weren't even, you were still in high school.
I was a junior.
Yeah. So I was suspended. And so I literally appealed and went to the dean of the college and sat in his office because I asked for an appointment with my appeal and explained to him. And I wrote this really good letter, just pouring my heart out and letting him know what I had gone through. And so I don't think it was a letter that helped me. I think what it was, because he had mentioned this too, when he put my two semesters side by side, and he was like, how did this girl who failed,
it was a stark difference,
exactly, come back and do it? I literally failed. I think one of the classes was a calculus class. Mm-hmm. Took the same class with the same teacher the second time and got an A.
Sheesh, you were depressed.
But I love math. Like, I knew I could do it.
Yeah. Were you like not doing the homework and stuff?
I wasn't studying for the exams. I was doing the homework, but I wasn't studying for the exams. And the exams had a lot of weight. But so I did. So he said, I really do believe that you just had a rough year, and that he said, so we're going to move it back up to probation and let you come back. And
shout out for Grace.
And this will be like, a test semester, and we'll, reconvene at the end of it and see how you're doing. We'll keep in contact. I think he wanted me to do some type of program or something like that. I'm like, I don't need the program. And the program was like a tutor. I'm like, hello. I don't need a tutor.
But
that wasn't the issue.
But babe, they have to do that because if they even though there's a stark difference, there's a big change, they have to do that for security for themselves.
Well,
for allowing you to come back.
Which I understand. I think though, if I had looked at a transcript literally and I literally the second semester only had A's and B's. So if I had seen this person who had like a D, a F, and whatever other grade I had that brought it really low, and then all I see is just A's and B's, I would be like, all right, so she changed her study habits. Maybe she did something. And if she's sitting here and she's telling me that it was an emotional struggle, I would have suggested counseling. You need to go, all right, then you need to go to see an advisor. Like, you need to go see I would not have said a tutor.
But counseling was, I'm not even sure if we had counselors. I'm pretty sure we had counselors, but like, counseling hadn't became a quote unquote thing.
I feel like though on college
until like
campus, is it?
I'm pretty sure they had a counseling center.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like at a college campus it probably did. I feel like counseling maybe in the way it is might be newer for a high school or elementary school or something, but I feel like in college, especially considering you have an issue with drugs in college and suicide and all that other stuff. Yeah. I feel like there's going to be a counselor somewhere, or they're going to have, some type of reference for you for an off-site counselor.
Yeah.
But I mean, think about it. When we were growing up, DARE was a thing. Like, those are just people who advise you and try to encourage you and help you and stuff like that to not do drugs at the time.
So you got past your first semester.
Yep.
Second semester, you did really, really well. Another year passed. I take it that you're still doing well.
Yeah,
And
after
then
that I didn't have a struggle. There was only one class I struggled with, and that was microbiology, and that was actually more because of the teacher at the time. It was a brand new dean who was teaching that one, and I mean, very, very smart individual. I don't feel like she broke it down very well. It was one of those things where it was one of those classes where people had talked about it I think the semester before, and they said she's a very hard teacher. And I had heard that before, but this was a person who was a very hard teacher. It just seemed like the papers that I wrote weren't good enough, and her exams were just really, really difficult, really challenging. So I did struggle in that class. And I think in that class I legitimately got a B minus or a C plus. I think that class I actually did try and didn't do well. But and that might be where my other repeat forgive came in, because I'm pretty sure I retook that class.
You had to retake that class.
Well, I didn't have to. I didn't want to see on my record.
So eventually you got back into the groove of things, and then you end up graduating in 2006.
Yep.
Graduated in 2006 with her bachelor's degree in what?
Yep. After taking a semester off and moving to California, a year off.
You did.
Yep.
Yeah. You got a bachelor's in what?
And I got a bachelor's in biology with a concentration in molecular physiology.
Lord have mercy. That girl's smart.
I really wanted to be a genetic counselor.
So that was 2006.
Mm-hmm.
Jumping to 2021, you graduate with a master's degree in counseling. How was that? First of all, how long is the program supposed to be? How long did you? Is that a good question? Should I not have asked that question?
Let me tell you. That was a great question. Let me tell you this. So my husband had this angle he wanted to take with this story.
No,
hold on.
Don't tell him.
Okay, and
tell him. Go ahead.
I'm just saying he had this angle he wanted to take with this story with today's podcast. Okay. And I said, I don't really think you need to take that angle in order to share the same story.
Yeah.
The important part about it is actually how I got here. Okay. I feel like my husband is doing that thing where you see an interviewer and they say, you can't talk about this, that's taboo. And so they don't actually come out and say it. Instead, they insinuate it, or they ask questions around it. So it kind of still gives them the same storyline, but they're not actually saying it.
So what you're saying is the interviewee said, don't talk about this because it's taboo. And as the interviewer, I'm like, okay, I won't talk about it directly.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I'm doing.
Exactly what you're doing.
That's exactly.
So I'm going to ignore you.
Wow. Was it an easy process?
Yeah.
The master's degree was?
Yeah. It was. I did an online program, and I'm not saying that it was easy because it was online, but I feel like online is a lot of independent study, and I don't think they would have something as an online program if they did not believe that you could not teach yourself. And so the teachers, I feel, are really there to answer questions and maybe explain concepts and stuff like that. But this wasn't a class. Like, my online structure wasn't one where I had a webinar every week. My teacher literally every class, like, I never saw them.
And that was a struggle at first.
It was, because
at first it was a struggle.
I was looking forward to having a traditional type of experience.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a relationship with my instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted a relationship with my classmates. But I mean, we did these things like called discussion boards, where they give you a topic and you all talk about the same topic, reading the same material, and you have to act like you're interested in what each other's saying.
Yo, the discussion boards, I get it. I get it, colleges. You have to prove that there's interaction between the students in the classroom.
But it is
man.
The fakest experience in the world. Like, it's kind of like, hey, we have to have a check mark. How can we easily do it?
I would always start off my discussion because it's for those who haven't done online learning. So everyone's responding to this prompt. Check. And then you have to find someone else's. You have to find someone in the class, give them a response to their response to the prompt, because you're having a discussion, and then you have a number count, a word count.
Yeah.
You have a word count that you have to meet for every single one. And honestly, we never had discussions. It was just because a discussion is you say something, I say something, you say something, I say something. It was you say something, then I said something, and I moved on. If you responded and you said something that I didn't like or whatever case may be, I wasn't the type to be like, oh, I need to talk more about this to you. I was the one like, I did the part that I was supposed to do. Check. Let me keep on moving.
I'm going to be honest. I never went and read my replies. So like
to the people who replied to
you. Oh
you?
yeah.
No.
If you wrote something to me and replied, no, if you used my initial post as what you replied to for the assignment, right. I never read it. It was literally like he said, you would get a question, everybody gets a question, and your write up, which is what it was, had to be a scholarly write up. So you had to have
quotes,
exactly, and all that kind of stuff in it. References. What kind of discussion has a reference? Like, it's not
a scholarly one.
A scholarly one. So
yeah.
it wasn't really a discussion, because for me, in order to actually be discussing, I have to be able, one, to talk about something I'm actually interested in.
Facts.
And two, we're probably
you're not interested in the subject that you're actually studying.
No.
But I'm saying that's how it is.
Yeah. And then two, I need to be able to kind of have this like you said, back and forth where I'm stating a point about something I actually care about, or something that I found interesting in all of the things we're studying for this particular class, and you give me a response back to what you think about it. Mm-hmm. If I can go and read someone else's post and really answer my question through your post, then I'm probably good.
I'm good.
The conversation, it's not necessary. So if I have an opportunity to talk to you as a classmate, I'm going to talk to you about something I can't find somewhere else.
Right.
So
now, with that being said, I also did an online degree. I will say this: although I did not like the discussion board promptings, I really liked my online degree. I mean, my online education.
Okay.
Did you not like yours?
No, I liked my online education.
I loved my online education.
But you had asked me if it was easy. That's kind of what we were.
Oh, got you.
Yeah, and I liked my online. I liked how convenient it was. I liked the fact that I got to kind of, for my electives, pick stuff that I was interested in studying. I'm just interested. All my classes were interesting, and I think the lineup of classes that I had to take were really good.
Now, here's the question, because it's I have to ask this question. For myself, not necessarily for them, I need to know this, because in your undergrad, you just acknowledged today, we've never ever put that word, the D word, depression, on what you were going through in your undergrad. Mm-hmm. So that was a new discovery for me today. I mean, I knew that information, but I never put that together. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, did you go through a time of depression in the pursuit of this degree?
No.
Okay.
No. Not work related, not school related.
Got you. Okay. I'm just trying to do maintenance to make sure I didn't miss anything, because obviously.
No, I know.
Because if we did, we never really got a chance to talk about that.
No, I didn't. School for me this time around. I mean, that wasn't related. That wasn't related to school. That was literally related to the social aspect of it. Like, sure. Literally, I was not homesick. Mm-hmm. I felt alone. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's all really it was. I felt alone. And so it had nothing to do with my schoolwork was impacted by how I felt on a day-to-day basis. So had I been in a place where I did not feel um, like I didn't have a support system when I started college, um, my schoolwork wouldn't have been affected because when I was back at the community college, I had a very good support system. I had my church. I was making friends. I was involved in different things at the school that I went to. I was still in a town I was familiar with people around me where I knew where things were. I knew how to get what I needed. And so I was fine. I thrived. When I went away and I was literally in a new state by myself, I was not homesick. I actually was not homesick. I did not miss being at home. I did not miss being in my state. I didn't miss any of that. But I was sad that I wasn't that I wasn't I don't know, I'm like, man, I don't have any friends here. Man, I don't
lack community.
Yeah.
You need a community.
And so it was sad for me. I'm like, I'm at college and I'm not having the college experience.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was a community-based person. I mean, reflecting back on high school, yeah, I depended on a lot on my community, and I think that's what helped me get through my undergrad degree. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so we got this degree, girl. Yeah. Super dupe, man. I fast forward to graduation.
Keep jumping all over with the story.
Well, we are an hour in. We're an hour in, and I'm trying to get to the end.
Okay.
You know,
I graduated. The end.
Yay! Was there anything else you want to touch on as far as like the process of getting this degree? You met some great people.
Yeah,
We had some people stay at our house that were doing the program with you who were coming in for their intensives.
So the best part about it for me was the intensives. That experience gave me the opportunity to meet people and to really have the traditional class setting that I had been longing for.
So what's an intensive?
So an intensive is basically like like it sounds. You're in this class. The class is about 16 weeks long. And for 1 week of the 16 weeks, you are actually physically in a classroom all day from like 8 to 5, learning every hour except for like a lunch break and a couple breaks in between with your cohort or with a cohort from that particular whoever signed up for the intensive at the same time you are. It is, I think, a skills-based training. So it gives you the opportunity to actually do some of the things you've learned and to like hands-on and it gives you the opportunity to be able to connect with other classmates, kind of be challenged by other people, but also to receive feedback, like constructive feedback from other individuals. You know, up until that point, you're pretty much learning everything through books, doing these discussion board posts, but now you're actually talking about experiences. Like the best part about it is that it kind of normalized the process for me. Yeah. So before that, you know, you're kind of wondering, what am I supposed to be getting from this? I mean, obviously the education, but school is not just about education. It's an experience.
It's about the experience, yeah.
And so wondering, like, is this as hard for others as it is for me? Is this as uncomfortable for others as it is for me? Am I getting this too easy? Am I oversimplifying this? You know, that kind of thing. You think about those things when you're studying and you're learning. Am I getting this right? Like that kind of stuff. So when you are in a classroom with other people and you're able to say, hey, this one thing we learned didn't make sense. Can someone explain it better for me in a way that helped you to learn it?
Yeah.
Or did anyone else not get it? And people are able to give you real feedback in real time and normalize your experience. That felt so validating. Yeah. It was so validating. Yeah. And so that's what I appreciated. I looked forward to every intensive because I'm like, I'm actually going to be a traditional student this week. And I get to go in and just be in class and focus on school, and I get to meet some really great people. And every single time I met some really great people.
Yeah.
So
much so that we had a couple of them stay at our house on a couple occasions.
Yeah.
Because they were coming in town
for other intensives.
And Chaka had previously met them, and then it was like, "You're coming back for another intensive? Come and stay at my house." I don't know if it was really like that. Maybe they asked.
No. I had
You offered?
I offered, like, and I mean, it wasn't like I opened it up to the class.
Right.
But, you know, the relationships,
the
relationships that I made there, I've made a couple of really good relationships with some of the women. And so I was like, hey, if you ever come back through town, you know, I'd love to see you. Or if you come back for another intensive, you need a place to stay, you are more than welcome to stay at our house. It was a blessing to live here and not have to pay for a hotel for a week.
Yeah.
Or to not be in town and not know anybody or have an experience like feeling like home. And so that's what I wanted to offer to these individuals. I'm like, you can come here, and we literally said stay here for free.
Yeah.
We are just blessed to be able to do this. Like, we had the space, and my husband was gracious, and so
did stay with us once, right?
Yeah, in my cohort though.
Right. But one time she came, she didn't stay with us, and then the next time she did.
I think, yeah.
Something like that. Anyway.
Okay. So,
sorry,
it's just random because that had nothing to do with my cohort.
We had her.
You're talking outside of my cohort now, babe.
I know. I'm just saying how many people we stayed at our house because they were taking intensives.
And I'm trying to avoid names in case y'all do not want to be mentioned. I only said one name.
I'll bleep it out. Just for
so that. My husband and I have different perspectives on this podcast in terms of what you say and what you don't say. He's going to be like, hey, brand. And I'm going to be like, we're not getting paid for that. He's going to be like, name.
I'm cool with that. So we got to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
And how did it feel to walk across the stage?
It felt good.
Also, you graduated in COVID.
No, after COVID.
Towards the tail end of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they had, the governor opened up. He increased the number of attendees at venues for the purpose of allowing people to be at graduation.
Yeah.
So ours was one of the first graduations after COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How did it feel to walk across that stage though?
It felt good. It felt good to know that I was done. Mm-hmm. I had always said I wanted to get a graduate degree, and it's one of those things where a bachelor's degree was pretty much set. I know, kind of taught growing up, you need to go to college, you need to get a college degree. And so I'm pretty sure that my parents' expectation of me was, hey, if you get a college degree, then that's all we need you to have. Like, not in a sense of that's what they knew. They knew that if you had a college degree, it increased your chances of getting a good job. And then no matter what you did afterwards, you can bake pies the rest of your life if you want to, but you have something to fall back on. So the idea was if you at least get that one, talking about the bachelors, not the associates, you have something to fall back on with whatever you did.
No, I wasn't laughing at that. I was laughing at what my grandmother said when I told her I wanted to get my master's degree.
What'd she say?
I was like, because I was in my senior year. I was like, Mom, I think I want to go back to school. She was like, ooh, okay. I was like, I want to get my master's degree. And she was like, well, let's finish these 4 years first before we start talking about that. Because I think probably about that time she was thinking about like what it would cost.
Yeah.
Speaking of cost, how much did it cost for you to get your degree?
Was it like $2,000?
Oh, I was hoping you was gonna say free.
Oh, okay. So it was free.
Where did you get $2,000 from?
Because at first I was a dependent, and we had to pay taxes.
Oh, that's yeah. So, all right. So, how this worked through my employer? I totally forgot about that. Good catch. Through my employer, we're able to get free education because I worked at a higher education, and everything was free and everything was good to go. And then eventually some laws changed, or maybe the law had always been like that and we just didn't know. And they were like, if you go to school this many credits and you spend this much money on this free tuition, you got to claim that as income on your taxes, and then you have to pay taxes on it or something like that. And man, when they hit us with that, I was like, dang, man, ain't nothing in life is free. But I don't mind paying the $2,000 for a whole master's degree. That's a pretty darn good deal.
Yeah. Yeah. So pretty much what it was when Troy and I first when I first started school, Troy was working at the Higher Institute. So as a dependent, you had to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to pay, only tuition was covered. But you had to pay taxes on it over a certain amount. That was kind of, I guess, the rule change that had happened. Eventually, I started working for the same institute. So then I was getting an employee benefit, which meant I didn't pay for anything. And even taxes were covered at that point. All I had to pay for was like a fee, I guess technology fee, which was like $100 or something like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's how that happened. And then eventually I wound up leaving before he did. And so my very last semester, once again, I was a dependent. And so some money had to come out. So altogether, I don't even know if it was $2,000. It might have been less
regardless,
than
that was a great price to pay for a master's level
coming
degree. From
a situation where I had to take out loans and do and work and do things like that for my undergraduate degree, I learned. My husband came into our marriage and had no college debt that we had to take care of. And I came into to our marriage still having to pay for my undergrad education. I had no debt from community college because I worked to pay for that. And then my grandfather blessed me when he passed away with paying for, the first couple my college tuition at the time.
Pat.
Yeah. So basically, when I graduated, I had the remainder of my undergraduate debt that I had to pay, which is all paid off now, bless the Lord. So I knew when we got to this point of me going to school, I was only going to do it if I didn't have to pay for it. Like if we didn't have to pay for it, I was like, I was like, I can't do that again. Either I'm going to get a bunch of scholarships or I am going to find a job or something that's going to pay for my education. And the blessing was my husband works in higher education, so I was able to take advantage of that. Hence the reason why I knew I wanted my master's degree, but I could not pass it up when the opportunity was there to take it to start.
For free 99?
Yeah, for free 99. So I would encourage you, anyone out there, again, like my husband said earlier, if you are a parent, my parents, I know for a fact would have prepared better had they really understood the impact that it would have on the college decision, the ability to go to school, and even knowing what they know probably now. I think that would have been, I think it would have really been different had we all understood what you need to do to prepare for college. The idea was just to get me there and to get us there because that was the push. But there's so much more that goes into it. So I would encourage you parents, like my husband said, if you have a child who is going to college, I know like they do the whole Gerber thing and get your life insurance for baby in college, whatever. I would encourage you, put a little bit aside every year. If you put nothing but $1,000 aside every year for the 18 years of your child's life, that is $18,000 that you're going to have saved up for college.
That's a lot of money especially if that's in-state, if the child decides to stay in-state.
Yeah, and college tuition every year goes up. So the $18,000 will cover a lot, but by the time your child is in college, it may not cover.
It's a great start though.
Exactly, it is. But I would encourage you to start saving up for your child's tuition now. It's never too late if that's the route they're going. And I would also encourage anyone who is who knows what you want to do, look for scholarships. Like, look for scholarships around what your career focus is. Look for scholarships around your gender. Look for scholarships around your ethnicity. All those different things. There is free money out there. So many companies have tax write-offs. Some things like the STEM program, which is what science, technology, engineering, and math. The STEM program, like, there's not a whole lot of women in science. If I knew that, but I did not put the effort forth like I should have. But being a Black woman who was interested in science, a Black woman interested in science, I could have gotten so much free money, because there is such a need for that. And it is the minority of the minority, with all the stuff that I just mentioned, that they're just giving away money for Black women in STEM.
Yeah.
So
there's opportunities out there.
Yeah.
And not only that, but part of the difficulty of not knowing how to prepare for college, if you've never been.
Yeah.
So, I know that I know for me, we didn't start talking about college until maybe like my first semester senior year of high school. But you should be talking about college like almost like maybe like middle school time, and like getting into the mindset of of your child, and then starting to do research about schools and things of that nature, and then what you want to study, things and stuff like that. And so
Yeah.
it takes some preparation.
Because a lot of colleges, I worked in an admissions office for a while, and a lot of colleges look at your high school transcript.
Yeah.
So if you are just thinking about college and you're in 9th grade, you're already 1 year behind. Because
if you're, say that again.
If you are just starting to think about college and you're already in 9th grade, you are already 1 year behind.
Yeah.
Because colleges will start reviewing or evaluating your transcript from 9th through 12th grade.
Yeah.
So, it sounds early and it sounds like, too young, but really to get your child in the mindset of preparing for college, you don't have to take them on a visit, I don't think, in like 7th, 8th grade. Let them enjoy middle school.
Sure.
But get them in the mindset that everything from that point on, colleges will be evaluating and starting to think about where they want to go, what they want to do, that kind of thing. They don't have to figure it out. I'm a believer. I'm not, an admissions advisor or anything, but what my experience has shown me from working at multiple colleges is you don't have to have your major figured out in your first year. Actually, some colleges won't let you pick a major your first semester, your freshman year. They kind of want you to explore, and they won't let you declare a major until like your sophomore year or something like that. So I don't think someone has to know exactly what they want to go to college for, but if college is the avenue that you're going to take, then really preparing for that early, taking them on college visits, taking them to college, and
events. The parents taking them on college visits. It's good when you go with groups and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like, cause I remember my middle school took us to a college, on a college visit. And I didn't care about the college. I was more concerned about hanging out with my friends. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But actually being around people who, like your parents who are encouraging you to go to school, that would make a difference. Matter of fact, my college trips were made with my uncle who went to college, because my mother didn't go to unfortunately, she took a couple classes in college. My dad did go to college, but he wasn't in my life, so he couldn't take me to, like, he wasn't going to take me to college. My uncle took me to colleges. He talked me through, hey man, what you interested in, all this type of stuff. And that was very influential to me.
I actually had a few people. I think in terms of not going with groups, it depends on your mindset.
Yeah.
Because groups for me were the better part of going to college visits. Just because the purpose of them was to visit these colleges.
That's a good point.
It was actually like they were college visits.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had a
combination.
For
me, it wasn't good though, because I was hanging out with Reed Doyle.
Gotcha. I had a combination of my parents my mom taking me to a couple youth leaders, like My school took us to a couple, which I didn't choose any of the ones that they mentioned because they were too much like my school. But
too much like the high school you was going to.
Yeah.
And you did not want to do that.
I needed a change.
You didn't want to go to Oral Roberts?
It wasn't Oral Roberts. It was it was another one. But I needed a change. I needed to have that exposure and that experience. But I really enjoyed the college visits, and I was so motivated that even a couple of the college visits I went on with friends. Like, I invited friends, like, I want to go visit a college or two or whatever. Can you go with me this weekend? And so a couple of my college visits I did just with me and a friend who I said, let's make a road trip. That's actually how I found JMU when I wound up going there. Yeah, I had gone.
Because you missed out on the best thing that could have ever happened to you.
No, that's why I failed.
Wow. Hey, Bridgewater College would have gave you a place to stay for that semester. No. You would have had a place to lay your head.
In the modular.
Hey, yeah. That's fine. You would have had a hot in the cot.
Nope. Actually, those dorms that are new weren't there when I.
But that doesn't mean anything. If you would have went, they would have accepted you. They would have had to have put you up in a dorm room because you, as a freshman there, even as a transfer, they'll make room for you.
Gotcha. Because that's the issue. Like, as a freshman, places would have made room because I would have had priority, but I wasn't a freshman. I was like a junior. So, but what I was saying was, I wound up finding my college because I went down to an orientation at Bridgewater. Did not like it. We had seen a bunch of colleges along the way, so the decision was, hey, on the way back, let's stop at these other colleges we visited. When I went down for the orientation, my mom actually wasn't able to go with me because she had to work, and so I was like, well, Mom, they're going to have like a parent orientation and some other things, so we'll just try that later, and we're just going to get information and yada yada and figure this out. And I was sitting in it, and yeah.
All right, let's stop with the Bridgewater bashing.
I'm not bashing.
We're currently
it's
at
a great
an
place
hour
now.
And some change.
Okay.
Anything you want to say that you, because we're talking about your graduation. Hey, matter of fact, I'm gonna throw in some photos right now. Chaka had a photo shoot. I really love you, babe. I knew you had a lot on your plate. I asked you a couple times. I was like, hey, I know you want to take photos for graduation. Are you going to set that up? And you were like, yeah, I'm going to do it. And I was like, okay. I waited like a week or two, and I was like, she ain't did nothing.
No.
And I was like, all right, babe, hey, you still want to take photos? Yeah, I'm going to reach out to somebody. You didn't do it. And I was like, all right, this girl is going to take photos. And we might argue. Chaka's particular. Mm-hmm. And I think that's fair. Everybody has a right to be particular, right? Mm-hmm. And so I knew I don't know if you had a photographer in mind, mm-hmm. or whatever the case may be, but I was like, she's not making moves. And I was like, look, I know somebody. I'm gonna go ahead. I didn't even tell you. I set it up. Mm-hmm. I set it up, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know I got you a photographer. You didn't, surprisingly to me, you didn't buck at it. Mm-mm. You didn't get upset, at least outwardly. You might have inwardly. And the photographer we hooked her up with did a phenomenal job. The photos are great.
Yeah.
And they even made Chaka look good. I look great in them. She was all right. But I really look good in those photos.
These are my favorite photos.
And I'm actually say her name, Alana.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
She made it such a smooth process.
It was a great.
And I don't know if this is the correct term in photography, but she styled it. I don't know.
She staged.
Yeah, like
she knew how to stage.
She knew how to tell me to put my head, how to put my hand, even my finger, like the angles and stuff like that. And so it was really good. And then, the editing one of the concerns I had was I want a photographer who can literally take pictures of brown skin, because not every photographer understands the lighting that's
that's real
I
talk.
guess when it comes to doing, I don't know if I'm saying the right terms, but not every
No,
photographer
it's lighting. You right.
can take a picture of every body.
That's the
just
reason
like
why when we do our shoots, we use
well, I mean, yeah, but just like how not everybody can take an action photo, and not everybody, some people only do landscape, stuff like that. And so that was my biggest thing of wanting someone who could actually take pictures and make us look natural, or make us look good, and it not, and I tell you, she did a wonderful job.
Fantastic.
She did. They're like,
y'all see the photos right now. Y'all seeing them.
These are my favorite photos right so far that we've had. And so amazing. And you made me feel really comfortable. I was really happy. And all of my worries and concerns about what it would be like to get these photos, especially since I had not, set it up, were literally within the first couple of shots were gone. And I completely trusted you. And when you sent us that first proof, girl,
you killed it. You killed it.
So thank you.
Also, one more thing.
I hope you did well on your exam.
I know, right?
Hope you did really,
and
you really know,
the
well
reason why we want to shout
exam.
her out is because she was studying for her medical boards that weekend.
I really pray.
And she didn't tell me that until we actually got to the photo shoot.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I was just studying for my boards."
Like, this is a study break.
I'm like, okay, all right, appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. One other thing I do want to mention, because I want to big up my wife. She graduated from with her master's degree. She did a great job, and my wife got accepted into a honor society. But here's the redemptive part about it. That is, and I know we wanted to talk about your graduation, but hearing what happened with you on undergrad, it makes me, I was hearing it and knowing the totality of the story, it made me realize this is a story of redemption.
Oh yeah.
It's a big story of redemption, because you were at a place of depression at one point, and then here we are virtually, you're getting inducted into a honor society because you have fantastic grades.
Yeah.
In your do you know what your final GPA is, and do you mind sharing it with everybody?
I don't remember. 3637, something like that. 36 or 37.
It was great, regardless.
I don't remember.
She got inducted into, and they said her name correctly.
They did. So what he said is absolutely true. I said nothing during this podcast to brag. I give all glory to God regarding any type of ability he blessed me with, because it's not like I turned my brain on and made it absorb information the way it does. That was completely God. And I'm not even, but I say all that to say the examples we gave were to show you how the transition happened for me, how really it wasn't that I wasn't capable. There was so much going on around it that made it difficult and challenging that even I wasn't able to overcome it at first. And also to kind of show why this degree was so important for me, being someone who does like to do things with excellence, knowing that I'm able to learn. I do take my studies seriously. And so being at that point at JMU, and I could have, I think, had I really not had that rough semester, I think I could have graduated with honors. I think I could have carried it the whole way through and done well. So for me, that's one of the words I was using. This was redemption. This was when I got into this program, I was so excited because I never took a standardized test, never taken the SATs, never taken the GRE. And so I had to go through a process to get into the program because of that. But once I got into the program and I was officially accepted, I was like, I'm going to I'm going to do everything in this program that I was not able to do for my undergrad, because I know my ability. I know I'm capable. I know I'm smart. And so the whole time it was making the most of the program, learning the material the way I wanted to, understanding it, doing my work, all those different things. I had some hard moments. Anxiety kicked in. My husband knows I had trouble writing papers because my anxiety hit so hard that I was overthinking things, and I was afraid of failing. And so I turned in a few assignments late, like severely late, and it was the grace of God and my professors accepting them and understanding that struggle. I think that allowed me to complete it, and my husband encouraging me. So thank you so much, just saying, hey, just get it done, do your best. Some points are better than none kind of deal. Exactly. But literally overcoming all of those things to get to this point, when I was able to walk across the stage, thinking about my undergraduate, thinking about the anxiety I faced in graduate school, that was put on me, by me, and seeing, like, getting that notice from them saying, hey, you qualify for honor, for an honor society this time around. Like, what? Me? And then getting to a point of actually, like, your degree is conferred. Like, you really did do well. Knowing the options that are available to me now because of it, it's such a great feeling. It's such a great feeling. So that is what it is. So I encourage all of you, it's never too late.
It's never too late.
I'm 41. And I just finished graduating with my master's degree. I was in my mid-20s when I was in college, and getting through that. I was 26 when I graduated with my undergraduate degree. Even though I started college right after high school, like I took summer off and then I started school. It's been a journey. I've taken my time. There's no rush. You get it done in your time. The key thing is that you get it done. But I would encourage you, if it's something you want to pursue, like I said, there were so many things that could have been obstacles. I want to say my parents did what they knew to do, and they encouraged me to go to school, and they made it possible for me.
Yeah.
When I mentioned the financial piece, that was a lesson for all of us, but it wasn't that my parents would have sold their kidneys to send me to college if that's what it took. But like, I encourage you, if it's what you want to do, if school is what you want to do, or some type of anything, certification or another job, whatever it is you want to do that you aspire to do.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. Research what you need to get it done. Don't think that just because you missed something, you're not eligible or capable.
Ooh,
that's not true.
That's fire.
Ever. Okay. There is a means. There is a way. It may take longer. And there may be some other things you have to do to prepare, but it's still yours. So,
words straight from the mouth of the queen bee herself.
You got this, and we are your biggest supporters.
We are your biggest supporters because we ourselves, we love education, and if you want to go back to school, hey, we'll go back and get a degree with you at the same time. We'll go back with you. Yeah, we're professional students, but not just. I said it the way I said it to encourage people, because I know school's not for everyone. It's not.
School's not for everyone. So that's why I didn't just say education. Like, I literally, like I said, certification, another job, trade, or another job. Like, if you want to be this manager or supervisor or CEO or whatever it is, if you want to own your own company, anything like that, go for it. It doesn't have to be the route we took in order to get to where we are. That's the journey that God chose for us. Exactly.
But yours may be different.
Yeah, but what we're here to encourage you to do is go for it.
Go for it.
Whatever it is, go for it.
Connect for. Go for it.
And then
Connect for.
he just.
Hey man, I'm sorry. The commercial just came to mind when you said go for it.
And that is how Troy ends a heart to heart. So, anything else from you, babe?
That is it. That's all we got.
Okay.
Love you guys so much. Thank you for stopping by and letting us speak to you and you hearing us. It's been your boy T. Roy.
And your girl Chaka.
And we are Beauty and Beard. Thank you so much for stopping by. Peace. That was good.
Thanks.
Give me a kiss.
Kisses. Mwah. Love you. Mwah. Ooh, 2 for the camera.
I know. Peace. That was really good. That was really, really good. You started to come out at the end.
No, I was already out and there. There were just like those were places I was going during the talk when we would get kind of like one of the things. Thank you for joining us for this episode of Beauty and Beard. You can find other podcasts of Beauty and Beard on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube.